The key risks for the global economy in 2014, I think, come under three heads. Probably the most serious is the risk that the US government will tighten its fiscal policy prematurely. That means excessive deficit reduction at a time when the economy is still actually short of spending. The second big risk is a slowdown in China. I'm not so worried about that, given that the country has a lot of control over its economy, and the ramifications of slightly slower Chinese growth are not all bad for the rest of the world. The third big risk, which is always present, is imponderable, is the risk of something in the Middle East affecting oil prices. The bright spots in the outlook for 2014, I would say, are number one, the US, where we're seeing the beginnings of quite a healthy recovery, especially given that the government is no longer weighing on the economy so heavily. And number two is Europe and Japan are both turning in somewhat better numbers than we'd expected. Europe actually seems set to grow next year, and the Japanese economy seems to be coming out of its decade-long funk. The Fed will only be tapering if the US economy is considerably stronger than it's been over the last several years. They will only drive up US interest rates if the US economy is strong enough to keep growing despite that. In this context, that will actually be good for almost all other economies around the world. When the US economy is strong, it tends to raise all boats. Now, there will be some waves which could affect emerging markets who are dependent on external capital. But in the long run, it's going to be good for everybody.